Good morning, Steve Jolly with Benchmark Realty, and welcome to the Music City Show. We are so glad to have you this morning, November 5th, 2020. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and a special thank you to all the folks who tune in every Thursday morning around 8:30 a.m. for the Music City Show. So let's get to business. The first thing I want to talk about today is a myth that's been going around for some time. And it is the for sale by owner myth that if you sell your own property by yourself without an agent, you're going to make more money. However, this has been proven wrong time and time again by studies that show that having an agent will bring you more money. This myth still sticks around, and probably for a good reason. Some of the past studies really didn't include everything, and so they left some things in question. So today I want to share with you a recent study on the market by a company called Collateral Analytics. They did a study on the value that your agent brings when you're selling your home, and the results were very interesting because this is the most comprehensive study ever done. And it's the first study to actually consider the value of the home prior to the person selling it compared to what they sold it for. And that was a problem in the past. It was really difficult to do in the past before you had things like automated valuation models. It was nearly impossible to determine the value of a large number of homes without sending an appraiser out or a realtor out to basically tell you what the value was beforehand. And because we couldn't do that, the studies out there were just incomplete. But Collateral Analytics was the first one to use automated valuation models, or AVMs. That's what banks use, mortgage companies use to determine the value of your home. It's kind of like a computerized appraisal. When they first, Zillow, the Zestimate was kind of the first one of its kind. It's not the best one that's out there, but it's one that you guys probably know about. Over the past 10 years that they've been in play, or maybe even longer than that, they've been able to improve on those models. They've been able to gather more data, which helps them be more accurate. And so although they're not perfect, they are, over the course of a large study over lots of numbers of homes, they can give you a much better idea of what's going on. So not only did they, in this study by Collateral Analytics, not only did they make it more comprehensive, but a lot of the other studies, because they really couldn't see the value, they concentrated on a small area, like a city, a county, a region, which can't really represent all realtors, all homeowners, and all markets. So it was really a flaw. All the studies in the past had flaws that made them hard to 100% accept. Collateral Analytics was the one that's come out recently that's really shown the difference. And here are some of the findings that have come out of that study. If you want a copy of the study, just let me know. I'll be glad to get you. But here were the findings that came out of that study. First of all, they found out that when for sale by owner, when homeowners sold their own home, it typically sold for a less price than the same home would have sold by a real estate agent, which isn't hard to believe. And a lot of times, some of those past studies showed the same things, that very similar homes, the higher price one was always sold by a realtor. Second finding they found is that the probability of your home selling, if the homeowner was going to sell it, was much less than if a realtor or an agent sold their home. So lower sales price, lower probability. But the most interesting finding that came out of that was that no matter if you sold your home by yourself or you hired an agent, the money, the proceeds, the net amount of money that ended up in your pockets at the end of the sale was about the same. Which that's interesting because selling a home takes a lot of work, and it takes some money to do that. And if you're going to outsource that work to somebody else and lower the number of headaches and frustrations you have, and they're going to bring in tools to help it sell faster, and you're going to net the same amount of money, why wouldn't you hire a realtor? So those are an agent. Why wouldn't you hire an agent? So those were the findings that came out of that study, which were interesting. So it's the realtors on the average realtor is going to net you the same amount of money, whether you sell it yourself or whether you use an agent to sell your home. So up to me, and I could do less work and net the same amount of money. I already know what choice I'm making. But here's a couple other things to consider. This study was so vast, comprehensive, that basically it looked at what the average agent brought to the table. And one thing I want to share with you is, Gretchen and I are far from average agents, and we've proven that our systems, especially our smart seller system, outperforms the average agent in selling their home. And a lot of that has to do with our advertising and our strategic staging programs. Those are two of the things that really separate us from the average agent, and we've proven that those things bring a higher sales price, and they sell your home faster. And so that's what really sets us apart. So we expect to bring results to you that are better than the average agent. So you can hire us and you can make more money, have less work, have less headaches, have less frustration. One more thing I want you to consider is if you're going to sell your own home, if you're going to list it as for sale by owner, think about the type of buyers that you're attracting. Most of the buyers that look at for sale by home owners, that look at these type of homes, they're in it for the deal. They realize that you're not paying an agent to sell your home. So that they realize that you're saving money in the sale of the home, and they expect to realize that savings. So if you're saving $20,000 by not hiring an agent to sell your home, that buyer, that for sale by owner buyer out there, expects to realize those savings. He expects those savings to end up in his pocket. And why would you go to all the headaches, all the work, all the frustration to sell your home by yourself and then turn around and give those savings away to a buyer? You're not going to do it. So that's another thing that you need to consider if you're thinking about selling your home on your own. If you have any questions, whether you're going to do it for sale by owner route or if you're going to hire an agent, if you have any questions about selling your home, give me a call, 615-257-9996. I'd be glad to answer those questions for you. So let's move on from the study today and let's take a look at the market for the week really quickly. So we're getting toward the end of the year. We're getting toward the time of the year when the market starts to decline, but you can see sales are still climbing a little bit. We're up 20.8% from where we were last year. We had 884 sales close in the last week. We had a great week for sales. But when you look at the short-term trends, over the last month, sales are still on an incline, mostly from the bump we got last week. I don't expect that to last. The holidays will be here in a few weeks. People will be focused on that and not on buying homes or selling homes. And so this will take a quick decline through the end of the year before it picks back up again when it warms up in 2021. New listings on the market, up 5.4% of where we were last year. So we're still adding about the same number of homes to the market as we are selling each week. So that's telling you that new listings are really the chokehold on the market. If there were more out there, we could sell more homes. And so looking at the short term for new listings, fairly flat. So expect to see that take a big nosedive at the end of the year. So you can see here in December and November, it really starts to take a big dip when you looked at 2019. So expect that to happen here in a couple weeks. Showings up 7% from where they were last year. Still had almost 8,700 showings last week. That's huge for this time of year. Expect the same things with showings because people are going to be less likely to let buyers in their homes during the holidays. Although there will be buyers out there active looking, and the buyers that are out there during the holidays are out there looking are usually very serious buyers. So don't discount those that are out there looking right now. But just know that also is going to start to trend down because sellers, they're having holiday parties, they're busy. It's just not a good time to show, and the same thing for buyers. Showings over the last month are starting to show a slow decline, and that'll continue on over the next few weeks. Homes under contract up 30% from where we were last year. Almost 1,000 homes under contract this week. It's just an amazing amount of business, but it can't go on forever. And for the last few weeks, it's been relatively flat. Really, for the last 2 months, homes going under contract have been relatively flat. So expect to see that again dip here in a few weeks. When you see that dip in a couple of weeks, it's a seasonal dip. It happens every year. Don't be concerned about it. With this amount of demand and the limited number of supply out there, and that inventory or interest rates are expected to continue to be low, we'll expect to see us come out of the gate hard early in 2021. Usually it happens when winter kind of seems to be over. It starts to get warm. We have less overcast and cloudy days and more sunny days. That brings people out looking at homes. For the last 4 weeks, take a kind of the meta look at the whole market across East Tennessee. Median sales price of $345,898, which is down a little bit from where it was the last time we looked at this. Total days on market's relatively steady. That's 78 days. We measure total days here, so that's the day that your home goes into the MLS to the day that you close on that home. 78 days on average. That's not very long when you look at the history of real estate in Nashville. If you like this kind of graphs and charts and numbers and you want to see what's happening in your neighborhood, go to musiccityshow.com. Scroll down, you'll find this data dashboard. You can select the time frame that you're interested in. You can select the county, or even narrow down to the city, or even drill down to the zip code. If you want to see what's happening in your neighborhood, musiccityshow.com is the place to go. And next week on the Music City Show, we are going to be talking about another myth out there, and one that is surprising to people: how school ratings affect home value. They can do it in a positive way, in a negative way, and we need to understand that when you're looking for a home. So keep that in mind. We will see you next week. Take care. Peace and love, y'all.